Welcome to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio. I hope you're having a great day, and thanks for joining us as we continue to focus on all the people across the great state of Mississippi who are working so hard to make this such a great place to live, work, and play. Listen, I am thrilled today to have my friend Fofo Gillich, the mayor of the city of Biloxi, and we're going to just catch up for the whole show. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I always enjoy my times with Fofo. Fofo, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Like, got my foot on the pedal. This is election time, but hey, we're really actually. I'm more excited than ever before for what's coming. On our way. We've enjoyed some very great success and some things that are ongoing and things are coming out of the ground. Some's already out of the ground, but Pops Ferry, the extension, and those possibilities for bridge rehab and even bridge replacement, as well as the new things that are coming. So it's exciting. I'm just tickled pink.
I mean, look at the infrastructure projects like the one that's happening now at Beach Boulevard in West Biloxi in front of Edgewater Mall that was posted about the other day. You think about how the Biloxi youth sports programs continue to evolve. There's a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot to be focused on. But right. Let's kind of take a step back for a second. You mentioned, the way I would describe it in Biloxi is kind of a pulsation of activity that's happening. When you think about economic development and sort of the state of the economy in Biloxi, how are you talking about it these days? What do you see?
Well, like I said, our numbers are still strong. Our sales tax and our opportunities to grow that and to interact, in a positive way with the rest of the country. I mean, literally, we don't have the challenges that everyone has. And we're, again, with our landscape, our 7,000 hotel home rooms and the visitation that we have, and the engines that are turning right now. And we're just, working with everybody we can to make sure we stay focused and stay moving, keeping our foot on the pedal in every opportunity. And what's exciting about my job, there's always a surprise. There's always, and you know how my mind works. I'm ready to turn on the juices and turn on the power in order to solve the problems or even, create opportunity, and that's what drives me.
Hey, we're gonna talk more about this in a second, but I look forward to one of the things I want to tap into is your mind, given your software experience and your most people may not realize it. Certainly regular listeners do, that you have a degree in mathematics. You're a very smart guy. I want to talk to you about AI and where all this is headed in terms of how it could impact the economy and what the opportunities might be. But before we do that, we'll come back to that. But I want to, if you look at like gaming revenue and you look at visitors and you look at tax collections and the things that are evolving right now as it relates to future economic opportunities, how do you see things right now?
Well, I live and breathe these numbers. We have our 8 partners, and we know that investment and the ability to put money into these projects grows the market. And as I said before, the number of hotel rooms are directly proportional to what the gross gaming revenue. So every opportunity we have to increase that is what we're pushing. They're possibly, at the legislature and the different focus, we have, if there's no obstacles presented, and through the legislative action and courts action, we could put another 2,000 hotel rooms, another $1 billion worth of projects on the table, and possibly grow that number. Right now, we're at Biloxi's casinos. It's gross gaming revenue. That's not money. That's a measure that creates taxes. We're at $1 billion every year, growing. 24 greater than 23, greater than 22, greater than 21, greater than ever before. We could grow that, and we could grow that by as much as 500,000, not $500 million. So 1 billion market, 1 billion one could be 1 billion five. With the right application and just being reasonable. You and I have talked 100 times about the free market will make you successful. And I'm battling, many forces, and I'm not going to, some people in the rest of the state will listen to me, but you can see it in my eyes. Hey, this is passionate. This is part of our future and vision to create a real opportunity for this state specifically.
Well, Fofo, I remember extremely well when I was at Southern Miss and we in our marketing class. I never will forget Dolly Lloyd and people who had her back in those days remember her well. She was a terrific marketing teacher. But she would say, if you take a Burger King and just have it be standalone, it's going to do pretty good. But if you have a Burger King with a McDonald's next to it, the Burger King's actually going to do even better.
Absolutely.
Okay? It's just kind of a market forces.
And you look at those market studies that depend on other market studies in order to say this is where I'm going to be. Okay, and it's more than the sum of its parts. This opportunity is more than a spot or two spots, but it requires significant investment and commitment to grow. And that's what we're after. Grow, competition, makes a better product and creates excitement across the country, And,
but one of the interesting things is, this is aside from where the opposition might be coming from, because the opposition could come from existing casinos or people who are opposed to gaming, or it can come in a bunch of different forms. I'm not trying to address that right now. I'm just focused really on this. You can just go look at the actual numbers. In the early 90s when casinos came up through today, 2025, a lot of time has gone by. You can see every time that a casino was added, what it did to gross gaming revenue and what it did to city. And you already had that as actually working proof. And so if you factor into that, the additional reality that there's been a proliferation of gaming, I'm talking about brick and mortar gaming across the United States, combined with online gaming and sports betting, there are significant threats to the coast market. We have to realize that. So how do we overcome that? Do we do it by entrenching and protecting the status quo, or do we do it by continuing to make this, especially Biloxi, but it accrues to coastal Mississippi, making coastal Mississippi competitive with other markets, so that the offerings here are constantly improving and adjusting and getting bigger and better? That's the way you see it, isn't it?
Oh, no question. And, when you mention status quo and you mention the marketing, if you're standing still, you're going backwards. So there is no room to stand still. There's only one direction you can go when you stand still, is backwards. So you got to keep marching, moving forward. And I've got the economic data. Investment creates, where you put money into it, you grow. If you don't put money into it, you lose the market. So there's no future in trying to limit anything. The reason why Biloxi is in the position it is, because you can't be a one-man band. You can't be a two-man band. You got to say, hey, when the market is there, people want to be part of that market. And guess what? The market will dictate what saturation is, right?
Yeah.
And we haven't reached that point yet. So,
actually, what we learned is with developments like Margaritaville that did not have associated hotel rooms with it, that you can't just open another casino. That's not the way this works. You've got to be able to make an appropriate investment where you create competitive advantage. And if you can't do that, it's best not to even try. And so the focus is really, Yeah,
well, like I said, and this is not, for faint of heart. Okay, these people, you and I can say, let's go open a Ricky and Fofo place. Okay, this is, you're talking about $300 or $400 million just to crack the door. You're talking about 300 hotel rooms just to be considered. This is not insignificant. You look at, as they say, per unit or per key. You're talking about $250,000 a key for a hotel, and you don't even attempt anything without 300 or 400 rooms, and it really needs to be about 500 rooms. So when you look at, do the arithmetic and do the three projects. One is about 1,100 1,300 hotel rooms. The other one is, both 300 and 400 hotel rooms. So that's a significant bump to the 7,000 hotel rooms we have, and that significant opportunity for that inventory for midweek conferences, which we have not really tapped, which will bring people. We're going to have a very exciting home show, manufactured home show, Southern Manufactured Home, used to be in Tunica for years. It's been for the last 3 years here. So they're going to build 60 houses that will be sold. And those are the kinds of opportunities, not directly related to gaming, but part of the attraction and part of the market we need to tap is come have a good time, have a great conference, then enjoy what we have, whether it's gaming, whether it's food, whether it's fishing, whether it's golf, whatever it is. We got the deal. We got the real deal. And
so when we come back on the other side with Mayor Fofo Gillich, we'll actually talk about the proposed projects that are actually on the table. They're growing. Right. The number of them are growing. And what it takes to be a competitive destination resort. We'll continue the conversation with Fofo Gillich on the other side. We'll see you after this. Welcome back to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio. We're visiting with my friend, the mayor of the city of Biloxi, Fofo Gillich. And let me kind of set this up a little bit, Fofo. For people who have had the opportunity to read what I wrote recently about where does coastal Mississippi go from here, talking about maybe thinking of economic development from a regional point of view. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to not do some of the county-wide economic development that we're doing, but that we better get really focused on what is going to be the next big thing. You think about what Ingalls brought to the table. We got to double down on Ingalls. We got to continue to focus on how do we shore up the contracts that are coming. And we have to worry a little bit that unmanned drones and other technological advancements are going to change maybe the way we do the Navy going forward. These are just realities. The next big thing that came along in the early 90s, we're talking about now gaming. It transformed our hospitality sector in a tremendous way. And so the question is, what can we do to enhance that? What do we do to continue to take that to the next level? You think about Stennis Space Center, and you have to worry a little bit that Elon Musk has put a stake in the ground in places like Brownsville, Texas. What impact does that have on Stennis? What is Stennis's future, and how do we make sure we ensure that? There's a lot of conversations to have. But when I led the tourism recovery efforts after Hurricane Katrina, we focused on a Tier 1 destination resort, and John Harrison, the president and CEO of Hancock Whitney, led that subcommittee, and we looked at, you got to have hotel rooms, you got to have convention space, you got to have a world-class airport, and you got to have amenities. The thing that kind of brought us to the party right now as it relates to hospitality, at least in the early 90s, and the thing that transformed us the most, that made us more of a 365-day-a-year market, is gaming. What more can we do to enhance gaming? You can't take your eye off that ball. You got to keep your eye on the ball. And if we just continue to protect the status quo, is that the thing that's going to make us more competitive going forward? That's the big question. And you're saying it is not the thing that's going to keep us competitive. You believe that to your heart of hearts, don't you?
No question about it. And it's proven over and over. Every economic scenario that you see, you got, and even in software, okay, you can't stand still and just you've got to go. And if you're standing still, you're losing market share. You can't gain it if you stand still. You got to keep pushing. You push.
Okay, so let's talk specifically. What are the projects that are on the table right now?
Well, the three things that caused the uproar in Jackson and some of the status quo one says this is being not the intent of the law in 1992. Well, the intent was to grow a market, and we're doing it. So I think RW, which was a couple of years ago, and then right now, tentative site approval at the Tullis-Tulladino. That was, another one that's caused the Tullis-Tulladino Tullis Gardens project, and then Danny Conwell and the Tavistock Group at Tivoli, which has been there 28 acres and should have been in play, except for some of the hoops and obstacles that were thrown our way, not by the citizens of Biloxi or the council or the mayor. This is the intent, was to have a destination, a Biloxi destination, like it was when the Keister came along and we created a place to be. And that's where we want to be. We have a significant distribution and experience with gaming. And we do have that now, but it could be so much better. It could really be a strip like Las Vegas if it's done the right way. And believe me, there's nobody who loves this area in our council, love what we need to do and what we need to be. I know, in my heart of hearts, we need to grow and need to grow every way that we can to be successful. And the group the gravity of all of them together attracts a lot of things.
So you have what the RW development is at Veterans Avenue. Again, that's one that they say was not the intent. You say it was. And then the other two, the Tullis Manor site and then the Tivoli Hotel site, which are almost next door to one another near Harris. Also, some say were not the intent, but you say was. But then there's another one. And this was the intent. I mean, this area was always seen as a legal gaming site. It was a gaming site at one point. But it is inevitable that the Broadwater is going to get developed at some point. It's just inevitable.
That's true. And with the money interest situation, that still has some gravity. And when you look at, the bookend from that point all the way to the bridge, that is something that's that you could experience and will, again, create a gravity that will attract. And that's what we're trying to do. I mean, it really, it's not physics, but it's mental gymnastics that say, oh, yeah, this is going to be better. And like Las Vegas, gaming was one thing, and it used to be 80-20. Okay, well, then now is morphed to about 60-40 non-gaming to retail, into convention, into conference. And so I see that down the road as a natural progression. And we're unique to the world. I think since we're successful and we've got so many natural attractions that are just part of the experience. When you say, hey, I'm here for some excitement, see some entertainment, and maybe do a little gaming. I think that's what the cool thing about Biloxi.
Well, Fofo, I'm convinced about it. If you watch what has happened over the last 15 years in Tunica, for example, Tunica, Mississippi, landlocked. Just because it was a legal gaming destination and its proximity to places like Memphis doesn't guarantee that it's going to have success. You have to have more to it. It's just the point that I made a minute ago. Hotel rooms, airport, convention space, and amenities. And the amenities of coastal Mississippi, the natural amenities, us being a coastline, et cetera, the fishing and the boating and all that goes with that, is a competitive advantage. That's one of the reasons why even places like the Beau Rivage and others are continuing to invest in their facilities, because they understand, because they have the ability. MGM has the ability to look into sort of their crystal ball that gives them a view of the gaming world globally. And they see where Biloxi fits in. That's why they continue to make investments here. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
No, it's business, Ricky. Business is easy. Business is easy. Hey, you increase your revenues, reduce your expenses, or manage your assets. That all goes to what? Bottom line. Business is easy. Politics and some of the stuff complicates stuff, but that doesn't change. That hadn't changed in America for how many years? Business is easy. It's related to what you do to increase your position. Bottom line, and everything. That's what's comforting about it. When it gets right down to it, this is a corporate world now, and even
it is.
The things have changed from the corporations that own these H spots and stuff like that. But the business rules still apply, and I think we're in great shape to say this is the place you need to be when it comes to business and when it comes to opportunity.
Well, what factors into that, and for people who are just kind of getting their head around this for the first time, what factors into that, and what has always factored into that, is a very stable regulatory environment. That's actually incredibly important. The role the Gaming Commission plays in Mississippi, for the most part, I mean, one of their claims to fame is they have let the free enterprise sort of run its course, okay?
Right.
And the other is the taxation. Even though it may seem high relative to other communities, it's not high. And believe me, the corporations that are looking to add shareholder value to their publicly owned corporations, as Fofo just pointed out, they're looking for markets like ours where there's less uncertainty, there's less risk, there's more opportunities to succeed. And that's just a fact of life. And that puts Biloxi in a really unique position, doesn't it?
It is. And just like we have grown Biloxi, in the things that we've been successful with for 325 years, we want to help people succeed. We don't want to be an obstacle. And that's one thing will not change. As long as I'm the leader of the city, we're going to help you succeed. We're not going to create obstacles to say no.
Okay. So Fofo, where are we now on the obstacles?
Well, for these sites that are on the table right now, we don't want laws to change to say, okay, that eliminates those three projects. If there's some reason to, they use tidelands, which is, it is what it is, and there's some, with Katrina and the ability to have things on shore versus we're not going to build a barge over tidelands and create a problem. It's all, it's all, I guess, not real when it comes to tidelands. That's not an issue, but there are two obstacles that, we're trying to rewrite the rules and invalidate some of these people that are moving, and, they got millions of dollars invested to go to have this project, become real. And they change the goalposts or pull things out. That's my issue. In that, who knows better? The local government is more successful than anyone. And I not only, as I mentioned at the last gaming commission meetings, I said, no, I'm not here just for Fofo Gillich or the mayor of Biloxi. I represent the council and the vast majority of the citizens of Biloxi, where these projects will become reality and grow, is what we represent. And I'm telling you that we're in favor of doing these things and growing this market. And the free market will dictate where you would be. And so I don't want, these are manufactured obstacles that don't really have no place in our business down here.
Well, listen, when we get back on the other side, we're going to tap into Fofo's computer brain and talk about AI and where that's headed from his point of view. We'll see you after this break.
Okay, man.
Welcome back to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio. I want to encourage you, if you haven't read the piece I wrote about where does coastal Mississippi go from here, you can go to any of our Facebook pages that's posted there. You can go to supertalk.fm, just click on the opinions tab, and it will pop up there. I would really encourage you to read it. A region like ours is always going to have challenges. There's going to be some external challenges, technological changes that are happening. There are going to be competitive challenges. You think about the big announcements, the billions of dollars of announcements that have been made across the state of Mississippi. How does coastal Mississippi get into those conversations? And the fact that we're not in those conversations, what does that mean? And as we go forward, as other markets, other regional markets in the Gulf South continue to improve things like average household income, et cetera, and as they have strategies, regional strategies, how does coastal Mississippi compete with organizations or with regions like that if we don't have a similar approach to that? The threats are really, really big. And we're having a conversation with Fofo Gillich, the mayor of the city of Biloxi. But Fofo, I came from a digital media CEO, so we share some interest in the world and how technology can change our world so rapidly, literally overnight. And your point about you can stay up, but tomorrow a new competitor could emerge, a new technological advancement could happen. We could get hit by something that changes everything. We got to be aware of those things. But on the technology front, when you think about what advanced artificial intelligence might do on every single realm, from military to our day-to-day lives to what's required in the workforce, it's going to be dramatic, isn't it?
Oh, it is. And it really, you probably, every day you're touched by at least some of the things that have already popped up in your natural, course of life. And it's all driven by those algorithms and those, processes and those databases that go grab keywords and say, this is what you mean. Like but I can do 2 hours on this because of the things I've experienced as mayor, but also from the technology where we've come from. When you talk about relational databases and the things that make AI possible, grab all these, these queries, these SQL things that say, okay, bring me everything that's related to this topic and put it in. So now I can process what, not ChatGPT, but I'm talking about real matrix and some of the things that wind up as a result of it. But, it gets more exciting every day. Some of the times that I first noticed, what he can do, the good things. He can do everything. You can do good with a hammer and you can do bad with a hammer. But you got a hammer that you need to use. When you type in, I'm emailing you, Ricky, such and such, and I say, attached to such and such, and I'll press send. Well, guess what? It looked at the text you said, attached to something. You didn't attach the email, right? That's AI. Yeah, so it's it's stripping those keywords, and then it's going to relate to what I'm trying to do. Is, hey, you didn't attach the thing. Do you mean So that's an opportunity. The other thing, when it comes to facial recognition, audio visual, audio response, and so that's where you're really going to kick some things. There's an application called Talk Pal. And, I know all the bad words in Croatian. I don't know how to really communicate. Well, and I'm talking to the computer like I'm talking to you. I'm talking Talk Pal. I said, what do you want to learn? So I want to write a conversational Croatian. So it's talking and it's listening to me, Fofo, with my, half-ass accent that nobody could figure out. But this is artificial intelligence at its point where it really makes sense. So it says it's interacting with me. It understands what the conversation I'm having with it, a bot, right? And says, okay, now it gives me a script to read back to it, okay? And now bottom line. So when we begin these exercises, you're not saying it the right way, and that's like having you, Ricky Matthews, teach me, about publishing. It's actually those things. It now knows my conversation with interaction with this chunk of software to get the result that you want. So there's all kinds of things. And
here's what I wrote. Here's just a quick paragraph I wrote in the piece that I talked about the region and potential threats. But the rise of artificial intelligence brings several future significant changes to our region, particularly in job displacement. Automation may lead to loss in traditional roles and key sectors of our economy. AI systems will increasingly take over customer service and operational tasks and will disproportionately favor those with advanced technical skills, widening the income and skills gap here, which is really already big. Believe me, this is a looming threat, and if we don't accept it and act, it will be like newspapers ignoring the internet and refusing to embrace the digital tsunami, not adapting to the digital world. Too many newspapers have died as a result. We must embrace change. So from an economic point of view, it's big change coming. And again, companies will be adapting that. Obviously, companies are adapting that. We already were being impacted by it to some extent because social media companies like Facebook were using AI to be able to determine what is in our news feeds. And there's so many more applications of it. But it's going to be interesting to see where this leads us, isn't it?
Oh, no question. And talking about 60 months, who knows where we'll be in, just 5 years from now. So we got a plan on the change that's going to be, like I said, you don't want to stand still. You want to be using every notch, everything that comes our way, and be ready for what's next, because it's coming, whether you're ready or not.
Listen, I've been using Chat GPT since it was launched, and I've gotten pretty good at understanding how to use it and how to do the queries. And I don't use search anymore at all. I don't do search at all, unless I'm looking for a local business or something like that. But all of my queries are happening either on X, on their AI platform, or on ChatGPT. And I can learn everything I need to know in just an absolutely brief query on a subject. Right. I can get everything I need to know. It's incredible, efficient.
No, it is incredible. Just the other night, the Biloxi High Show Choir, I let off their competition piece, and bottom line, it was all about Biloxi and the experience in Biloxi. And what they did, they went to ChatGPT and it said, write me a song about Biloxi, and they put the notes to the words, and I wish you could have heard it. It was incredible. It was, and I played a little piano with them to kick off the thing. It was at the Performing Arts Center, Biloxi High Performing Arts Center, and just the boys, about 20 boys. I played the piano and sang along with them. I call it the politicians' national anthem. It's the Beatles. I was a product of the Beach Boys and the Beatles. So we're going to sing together with a little help from my friends. And a lot of these kids didn't even never heard that song. But anyway, that was a great experience for me just the other night. And But yeah, the song that was AI generated, reduced to and put it to notes was unbelievable. And I need to get you a copy of that, because it was all digital in the background, showing 4 teenagers in about a '65 Mustang convertible going to all our spots in Biloxi. It was tremendous. But it was to that AI generated song that was performed.
Okay, so look, I'm gonna do this live right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm on Chatbox, and I'm gonna. Here's what I want to write. This is write me a song about Mayor
Oh.
Fofo Gillich, the mayor of Biloxi, Mississippi. Okay, that's all I put in there. Okay. Okay, here's the song. In the heart of Biloxi, where the waves kiss the shore, a voice we all remember now, we're missing it more. Fofo Gillich, with a smile so bright, guiding our city day and night. Where's Mayor Fofo Gillich? Where'd he go? We're searching the streets, we're feeling the flow. From coast to the bay, we're calling his name. Biloxi's missing you just isn't the same. The casinos are shining, but the town feels so cold. Without your warm laughter, it's the story untold. You're bright. I mean, it just goes on from there. Let's see the chorus. Where's Fofo Gillich? Where'd he go? He's searching the streets, we're feeling the flow, and it goes on from there. But it wrote the whole song with one query. I don't know why it's looking for you, but that's just the song that it wrote. I can go back in and I can adjust the query and say, he's here and he's a great mayor. He's here and he's a great mayor. Okay, let's just put that in there. And then when it comes back to me, it says, okay, got it. Let's celebrate Mayor Fofo Gillich. In the heart of Biloxi, the sun. It really just rewrite. Let's see what the chorus says now. Yeah. Hey, Mayor Fofo, you're here to stay, guiding our Biloxi, lighting the way with your heart and your passion. We know we'll thrive with you at the helm. Our city's alive. Wow. It just goes on from there. But I mean, dude, this is smart technology, man.
Unbelievable technology, it really is.
I mean, really. And my conversations with Steve Azar, the singer-songwriter, he worries greatly about what does this mean for the future of his industry and so on. Right. Hey, when we come back on the other side, we'll continue our conversation with Mayor Fofo Gillich. All right,
that's awesome, man. Appreciate that.
Welcome back to Ricky Matthews Show. We're visiting with Mayor Fofo Gillich, and we'll just close out that conversation we were having about AI, but I wanted you to, this is kind of the final verse of the song that we wrote in 1 second, Fofo. Let's raise our glass to the man we know, Mayor Fofo Gillich. We're ready to go. With dreams of our future, we'll make our mark clear. In Biloxi together, we've got nothing to fear. Hey, Mayor Fofo, you're here to stay. We're proud of our city. Come what may. So there we go. So listen, Mayor, we talked about infrastructure. We got Mardi Gras around the corner. You got challenges in the city from an economic development point of view. And I think the point that you're making and what I've heard throughout this whole conversation, you believe that you're in exactly the place you need to be in, and every day you wake up, you can't wait to lead. That's what you intend to do.
Absolutely. My vocation, my avocation, whatever you want to say, I'm here doing what I couldn't think of a better thing for me, for Fofo and my family and my heritage, and our heritage. What better things could I do? And it's just a great opportunity for me. And as I said, we're going to run this campaign like it was my first campaign, and we're running as hard as we possibly can, because we're going to continue the success that we believe we've had, and that we're going to meet the expectations for the challenges that whoever walks through that door is open, and we'll meet any challenge that comes through that door. I can promise you.
Listen, man, we talk about gaming and shipbuilding and what's happening at Stennis, and too often, but too often we leave out of the conversation the role the military plays. But you think about the role that Keesler plays in Biloxi's economic stability, man, that cannot be overstated, can it?
No, it cannot. And, we've had absolutely the best relationship over the last 14 years. And some of the people that I've worked with that were colonels are now 2-star generals and maybe the 3rd star and in Space Command, in Pentagon. But they've always experienced Biloxi and they've always experienced Keesler. And there, no matter where you go, you're going to say, oh, man, I loved it. And I tell them as they retire, they go to other places. Hey, if you decide not to retire in Biloxi, I haven't done my job, and they appreciate that. Whether they're a colonel or a sergeant or a doctor, and then the role you mentioned, the role of Keesler. As Fred Hayes, the direct relationship of how Biloxi and Keesler, 1941. Up until 1941, Biloxi was like 15,000 people, shrimp and oyster, and a little bit of tourism, a little bit of vacation and stuff like that. 1941, our grandparents' generation got Keesler to locate because of World War II. It jumped over 100,000 people almost nearly overnight, and they would keep these soldiers. And later they called it the Airmen, Air Force, in '43, but they kept them in tents and in barracks almost overnight, and until payday. They would let them go on payday. And that's why Biloxi created that, it had almost every flavor of entertainment in the world, whether it was gaming or booze or whatever, on Howard Avenue. So that created the opportunity, and it's still creating opportunity for now within cyber. They train 27,000 people a year, new airmen after they come out of basic training to Keesler, and about 8,000 of them are cyber training to fend off where the next war will start in cyber. So the state of Mississippi is calling the Mississippi Cybersecurity Campus in that corner right by White Avenue. It's a $40 million project. It's coming out of the ground right now. And that will open up a sort of a campus and a tech opportunity for not only that little chunk of what used to be the base, but now up and down Judge Seacool. And right now, Mississippi State, probably the hottest, they have the highest rated supercomputing collaboratory with supercomputers related to cyber. They're running the curriculum. So that cyber is right at the heart of where the Air Force is going to be. So right now they train 7,000 people in collaboration with Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. But now they'll be on that campus on Keesler right there at White Avenue. So that's where the things we're going to be facing from an adversarial situation. And to me, it's just unbelievable what Keesler means to Biloxi and Biloxi means to Keesler. We're always defending the roles and making sure that our senators and our congressmen understand how important this is, not only to Biloxi, but the thousands of people who are here because of Keesler, and then the state of Mississippi. And the governor has been, tremendous, and the legislators have understood how important it is. But now you sit in that corridor between Stennis and between, Pascagoula. You got a corridor that is high tech and probably the most reasonable place in the world. Once they understand, Biloxi, the coast is someplace that's special. The opportunity to grow is big on that little corridor.
You know what's interesting, and we're running out of time, but with Roger Wicker's role in armed services, I had an opportunity to visit with Cindy Hyde-Smith a week ago on this show for a full show. She talked about driving down Highway 90 with Donald Trump, talking about real estate values and all of that. But we've got two senators that are locked and loaded as it relates to military in coastal Mississippi, and they get it. They get it to the core. And we're lucky to have those leaders there. But listen, we're out of time for today. I can't wait to get back together again soon.
Well, we'll be there anytime. Ricky, I love y'all, and like I said, we do a great. We have a great time when in talking with you. So many exciting things that we need to be aware of, and you'll say, keep me on track. So
Thank you. I really enjoy our conversations. This has been Fofo Gillich, the mayor of Biloxi. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, man.